It is. That's exactly what an Aries
That's
would
what
do.
an Aries would do. Oh, gosh.
This episode was made possible by our therapy partners, Dirty B, Myra, and Pickett. From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. The strike is over, so welcome back to the writers of Pod Therapy. And now broadcasting from the churn, that's Whitney. I'm Nick. Time for some Pod Therapy.
Yes.
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by excess. Since I'm filling in for Jim tonight,
Yes.
I thought I'd just talk about this for a few hours.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
No one's going to stop you.
Characterized by excessive amounts of inattention. Okay, I'm done.
I know you couldn't commit. So yeah, no gym today. Which is, that's sad. Where it's
very sad around here.
Very, very sad. But Whitney looks comfortable in her new chair.
I've assumed the chair.
Yep.
Jim's in the empty chair, the empty wooden chair.
Yep. And he actually just sent me a text a little bit ago. He's not feeling well, so he may not make the next episode either.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
I like that he only sent it to you.
Yep. Because of course he did.
Yeah.
Because you're going to reply to it.
There's a group chat with everyone. He sent it to Nick.
Yeah.
That's great.
P.S. Don't tell the guys.
Yeah.
He really
Tell him
did.
to get off his ass and get over here.
Yeah. So episode 299, we've got episode 300, which we are going to be recording later tonight.
Yep.
And hopefully from now until then, we come up with some idea of what we're going to do for episode 300. Because we put no planning into this whatsoever.
No.
Oh, Whitney, did you plan something?
I
Whitney
have
has
a
a piece of paper
Oh, hell yeah. Whitney's got a plan.
that has been pulled out of a spiral notebook at some point.
It's very professional and official.
Save it. Hold on to that because we'll do whatever it is.
Whatever.
Because any
You
idea.
think Jim didn't plan something? Is he really not coming?
Yeah, no, I don't think he is.
What?
Tell him to get off his ass and come over here.
Okay.
He has to sit
will,
and talk into a microphone.
You
Yes,
can take some medicine and get on over
Just
here.
tell him that we won't do the calisthenics.
Wear a diaper, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, but we
in
do
the wooden
have.
chair.
We did get a package. We got some more Hawaiian treats.
Oh, yay.
From a literal pickle. So thank you. We will be getting to
you.
that in the next episode.
Thank you, a literal pickle.
Yes. In the meantime, let's do some therapy stuff.
Some therapy stuff.
How do I tell my mother-in-law I know she has cancer? This is from Anonymous. Hello, Pod Therapy crew. I'm a longtime listener of the show, but I have never written in. My question is, should I tell my partner's mother that I know she has cancer? Story time. I've been in a serious relationship with my partner for about 4 years, and we live together. I have a good relationship with his parents, who live in the same neighborhood. They've invited me on trips, and they tell me that I am family to them. They are wonderful, and I'm thankful that to be close with them. His mom, Sandra, and I went to have a spa day together recently. I am friends with the spa owner and know the staff members, so we were chatting while waiting for Sandra to arrive. During the conversation, the spa attendant that was going to provide a service for Sandra said she was looking over the new client paperwork, and it showed Sandra is taking medications that may be contradicted for the spa service.
Yeah.
And then asked me, does Sandra have cancer?
Oh, contraindicated.
Contraindicated.
Oh, contraindicated.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That makes more sense. I was looking at that and trying to figure out why that sentence seemed weird in my head. It's because I didn't read the word. So some medications may be contraindicated for the spa service, and then asked me, does Sandra have cancer? I was stunned, first of all, that the spa attendant violated HIPAA so hard. Okay.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. I was also stunned to hear that Sandra may indeed have cancer. I have no idea, and neither did Travis. Now, I'm in a predicament where I know she has cancer, allegedly, which makes me so sad, but I don't know if I should say anything to her since she didn't tell me. I feel like if she wanted me or her son to know, then she would share. But I also feel like I want to be honest with her that I know. Travis doesn't think that I should say anything. I'd love to hear your advice. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And that's anonymous.
So, this isn't really part of the question, but to clear it up for anybody who's following
The
along.
hackles that rose on all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone's silent.
Yeah, so HIPAA. HIPAA is the Health Information Patients
Protection Act. Something in there.
Oh shit. Health insurance
don't know it either.
Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act.
There we go. That sounds right.
I think so.
I'm gonna
Anyway,
look it up.
Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act.
Boom.
Nailed it.
5
Okay.
points, Nick.
So the question then would really be like, is a spa considered a covered entity?
That's what that stuck out to me. Obviously, Jacob picked up on it too.
Yeah.
He's like,
Because this became a thing often in during COVID,
Right.
which was just a real pain in my ass because I hated it. Because this is part of my job is knowing confidentiality.
Sure.
And
yeah.
so when there is a confidentiality complaint or something that comes through in the state of Nevada, it's actually my team that investigates those complaints.
Wow.
For
Okay.
mostly for 42 CFR Part 2, which is a separate law aside from HIPAA.
Like the
but
police.
there's a lot of overlap. So
Okay.
the question then becomes is because not everybody is a covered entity. So this may not actually be a HIPAA violation if a spa isn't considered a covered entity.
Okay.
But either way, I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
It's certainly a breach of trust
yes.
at minimum.
Yes.
Like you fill that out, you expect the spa to keep that confidential.
Yeah, like for me as a personal trainer in my personal training business, I will
That's
not
a great
identify
comparison.
anybody
Yeah.
who is a client. I'm
and
not
they're going to
bound
give you
by
health
HIPAA.
information potentially to help,
Right.
so you can, oh my gosh, what's the word? Like make it very specific to their needs.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if you went around telling other people, or like they have friends in a group that come work with you, it's like you aren't going to be like, oh, how are you doing with your cancer treatments while your buddy's sitting there? It's like, no.
It's just good practice not to do
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Whether they're covered or not, it's just good practice. So, what are your thoughts?
Gosh. Well, the first thing that stuck out to me, it says that the spa mentioned that they listed medications that seem to be to treat cancer, and full disclosure, I'm ignorant to what those medications would be. Nobody super close to me has dealt with
They're
cancer.
just called cancer drugs.
I mean, okay.
It just
so
says
that's
it right
the
there
official
on the bottom.
name.
Yeah, it's cancer drugs.
All cancers
Yeah.
are treated with this.
Yeah.
But so part of me, and they list this, they're like allegedly, and we don't know for sure. My first question is basically like, sounds like you're making a lot of assumptions, even though your assumptions might be right, but
The person working at the spa making the assumptions on the medication.
and the writer, like, because the medications are typically used for cancer, but maybe some medications have different uses. Is kinda what I was
exactly.
thinking.
There are so many medications now that are like there's so much off-label use of medications for different Ozempic. Good example. Right?
Yes, great example.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the diabetes medication that's now just a weight loss drug?
Yeah. I mean, so that's like a really good example.
Great example.
I mean, because really a lot of medications started off that way where like even for antidepressants, like doctors didn't know that helped for depression. It wasn't until later that people who were prescribed those medications were like, "Oh, I feel better." Yeah. Like, oh shit. All right.
Oh,
That's actually it's funny because that's how they figured out that serotonin actually played a role in depression.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that far back.
Yeah, they didn't even realize that so the medication happened before.
Wow.
So it's not like they identified serotonin and like, oh, this drug
medication.
affects serotonin. They did it the backwards.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's
okay.
yeah. So I think I mean, we shouldn't make assumptions. Number one.
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
Yeah, and then as far as what to do, gosh, I mean, there's two routes. One, I would say just keep it to yourself. If like the mom doesn't want you to know anything, that's the simplest answer. Now, if I were in your shoes, that would be really hard to do. So from a more realistic perspective, you know yourself better than anyone. So if you can keep it to yourself, I would probably go that route. If you feel like this is really eating you alive and you can't act the same around your like in-laws, basically, I would maybe find a way to talk to her about it directly.
I have a way.
What's your thoughts?
I have a way to talk to her. I agree with everything Whitney just said. So consider this just a pile
Adding
on what Whitney just said. If you decide to talk to her, you can definitely initiate the conversation with, hey, an employee at that spa that we went to the other day really fucked up.
Yeah.
And they told me some information about you, and they asked me a question about you, and it has really been bothering me. And
Do
man,
you
I need
have a lawyer?
I need to talk about it. Yeah.
You're going to want to sue their pants off.
I know a way we can make some money.
Yeah.
Hit button. Yeah.
We can sell
you just-
hippos.
Yeah, just being
So
transparent.
so you would explain it that way, saying
If you're going to have the talk at all, which I agree with Whitney that if you could just avoid having the talk, then cool. But I'm betting since you're writing into us and your partner has already said, drop it.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like you want to drop it.
Yeah.
Because if you're part of your letter is my partner said, let's not pursue this anymore, but you're getting a second opinion.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's telling me something there.
What do you think, Nick?
That's a good point. No, I was definitely on the side of
Don't say anything.
not say anything. I would not. If this were me, I would not approach it at all. But I can do that. Like I can know information and just not.
Right.
I can just kind of let stuff go.
I think this person is going to go after it.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like, for me, I feel like my ability to be able to kind of set that to the side and not deal with it allows me to then kind of look at what's her side of this.
Mm-hmm.
If she wanted me to know, she'd tell me.
Yeah.
So she obviously doesn't want me to know.
Yeah.
And if I'm fine with keeping it to myself to respect what she wants,
Yes.
then that's option number
Yes.
one. Then that's definitely what I'm going to do.
I think that's a great way to mentally change that up, to take it away from it being about me having a hard time dealing with it, to like really that person's the one dealing with something.
Yeah.
And if you really want to respect that, you need to put them first if you really care about
That's
them.
very true.
Yeah, because I think the writer might be kind of in that situation where feeling like, well, I feel like I'm being dishonest.
Yeah. That's a
But-
great point.
But I think what you're doing is I think you're being respectful
Yeah.
to what
And
she
kind
wants.
to their feelings.
Exactly. Yeah. So I wouldn't think that, you shouldn't feel, I wouldn't want you to feel pressured or feel bad about having information that you're not supposed to have.
Yeah.
I think I would just do, in my mind, I would just do the best to just kind of take that, and I'm just going to set that down right over here, and I'm just not going to,
Yeah.
talk about it till it comes up. But I think the big thing with this is that the two biggest factors to making a decision is you and her, and nobody in this room knows either of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell you a quick story. Something similar to this happened to me. I found out that a friend of mine has HIV, and my friend is not the one who told me. But I found out through a mutual friend who thought they were doing something for our friend. They told me that information. Again, thinking they were helping.
Yeah.
I don't think they were helping, but whatever. But now I know, and I didn't have any reason to think that it wasn't true.
Yeah.
And one day, some other stuff was going on, and I could tell that my friend was making decisions in the situation that we were in, and part of his decision-making process was, I don't want my friend to know that I have HIV. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to go into, but that was the basic situation. I knew that we were in a scenario. He was making choices in that scenario based on, let me keep this secret that I have from Jacob. Not a secret, but let me keep this part. I don't want to deal with this part of my life with Jacob tonight.
Are you saying that somebody could have gotten hurt?
There was stuff going on.
Okay.
There was no one was in physical danger, but there was real stuff going on.
Yeah.
There was life stuff going on.
Yeah.
And so I just pulled my friend aside and said, "Hey, this is all crazy tonight. I'm going to pile onto that crazy real quick, and I'm going to tell you that I know this about you. I've known this about you and this was probably 6 months after I had found out about this. Because my intention was what we've been saying
Yeah, just not
this,
say anything.
and also like this doesn't
It's a long
change
time
my
to go.
yeah, like this doesn't change my relationship with this person at all, like all this kind of stuff. So, but it was a very tense, very awkward conversation, and like you and your partner's mother, this person and I have known each other for a very long time and love each other very dearly. So it's in some ways similar, and I'm going to tell you, it was not a fun conversation to have.
I imagine not.
There was not like a moment of, oh, I'm so relieved that you know. There wasn't any of that.
That's a great point. Like, that's probably what the writer might be imagining.
There might be something like that in your mind.
Yeah.
And like there was none of that at all.
But they're dealing with so much more than you can even imagine.
Yeah.
So giving them that respect, like Nick said, to just deal with it and
I'll tell you what, my friend and I have never discussed it again. It has never. We're still very close friends.
Yeah.
That is something
probably
that
don't want to.
That's the thing, and I leave that in their court. And that in that moment, it was necessary for me to let him know that I knew.
Yeah.
But then after that, we're right back to where we were before. Like until he wants to talk about it, or if he ever wants to talk about it, that's when I'll talk about it again.
Yeah. Wow.
So I guess, I don't know, maybe some follow-up questions for the writer, just kind of imagining potential outcomes and what would be the best outcome, because you know her obviously better than we do. Would it be better if you deal with this right away when you hear it and just say, hey, I heard this just the other day, and you come right out with it? Or would it be better if 6 months down the road, she finally comes out with it, and then you say, yeah, I heard about this.
I don't think you should do that ever. Okay. You either let her know that you know,
or you act surprised,
or you act your fucking heart out.
That was my other
You
thing.
win your fucking Academy Award when she says later on, by the way, I'm sick.
Yeah.
No!
Never.
I'm going to need you to wear pearls when you're around her from now on, just in case, so you can clutch something.
So this, okay, I can recognize my skills and I recognize my weaknesses.
Okay.
My skills, I'm very good at having information, setting off to the side, and never addressing it. I cannot talk about stuff.
Yeah.
I can absolutely do that. One thing I cannot do is act. If somebody, I wouldn't even know it's, I'd be like, oh no, like it would come off so fake. I couldn't even, I wouldn't even be able to.
Oh,
Not the cancer.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Like I couldn't, I wouldn't be able to fake it. I would just have to, I would have to come clean and have to be like, yeah.
I've got the move for you, Nick.
Okay.
In that scenario, be like,
Jacob's got an answer.
excuse me. And you just have to stand up and leave the room.
Oh, good point.
You're so overcome. You're so overcome by
Excuse me, and walk
emotion.
off.
And then lock myself in the bathroom.
That's it.
And then throw some water in your eyes and make them red. I'm fine now. Don't worry.
Hot sauce.
I
just had to gather myself for a moment. I'm fine. I'm sorry I had to leave.
Oh,
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
brilliant.
That
Okay.
was my question too.
All right.
That was like, I was imagining this playing out. Oh, you just don't tell her. Then 6 months or however long down the road, they end up saying to the family, I have this sickness. And you just being like, just deadpan, like, yeah. Like, wait, what? Did you know? Why are you acting
Or
like
you
that?
could pretend to faint.
Yeah.
Anything
Like,
that
I
gets you
gotta
out of the
keep these-
situation.
Like Coach Jacob is rocking.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just been life.
The lights every time for me.
Yeah, people don't believe us. The lights are real.
The lights are real.
I need to remember to video.
The pyro's fake.
So there you go, Ryder.
All right.
Hopefully that is a little bit helpful for you. I think we gave you 4 solid options.
4 equally solid options.
I say try them all. And
Let us know.
let us know.
Right back in.
Try them
Unless
all.
unless one of those ideas is the fainting. Don't do other things while you're trying to pretend to faint too.
All right. So
We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we are going to discuss expiration dates. You are listening to Pod Therapy.
you're doing really good.
Wow.
I think this is your new. Okay. Today's episode is brought to you by Robert Brownie, Junior Mint, Kayla Lansbury, Kevin Chamberlain, Ben Stanley, Adam Hathaway, Dan Martin, Lib, and Heyo. And if you would like to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. All right, Whitney. This trivia came up last week.
Oh, okay.
And I saved it
Okay.
for when you came back.
Oh, it was about crystals.
It is.
That's right.
Okay. So,
Okay. I told you I'm at a 4 out of 10, so it's not going to be pretty.
All right, we'll see. From Brandy. Hi, here are some questions for the trivia sections. Let's see your crystal knowledge. Each question will provide the commonly agreed upon metaphysical properties. Commonly agreed upon.
Good.
Can I phone a friend at Flora?
No.
Damn it.
If we're going to go with the
crystal.
non-commonly agreed upon properties of it, then I'd suck at that.
And then you can pick which crystal the question is describing. Bonus points if you can also guess the color of the crystal. Ooh, okay. All right, so there's a total of 11 of them.
The commonly agreed upon color of the crystal.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay, questions. Here we go. Number 1, properties. It enhances spiritual awareness and intuition, is calming, and relieves stress.
Ding.
Oh.
Marijuana. Final answer.
Close.
Marijuana crystals.
Marijuana crystals.
The Emerald City.
We've got options.
Okay.
And I'm going to mispronounce
It
all
relieves
of
stress.
these.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, amethyst.
Nailed that one.
Okay.
Nice.
Citrine.
Okay.
Sure.
Hematite.
Okay. I've heard of that one.
You have?
Look
I
at
haven't.
Jacob over
Like
there.
in geology classes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm going to go
I
with...
don't know what it does in this context.
They didn't teach you that in geology?
No.
That should have been the main curriculum.
I'm going to go amethyst.
Oh, those were it. Okay. Okay.
I'll go hematite or whatever however you say that one.
Okay.
What was the second one you said?
Second one was citrine.
I'm going to do that one.
All right. Good.
Citrine.
We got 3 different answers.
Yay.
Okay. Let's see what we got. Oops. I got to just remember to highlight one and not both. Here we go. Amethyst. Oh, shit. We forgot to guess the color.
Oh, purple.
Citrine is...
No, amethyst.
Oh, the color of amethyst?
Yeah.
Blue?
It is purple.
Yeah.
Dang it.
I saw the answer.
Like,
so.
blue?
All right, number 2. Properties.
I know the physical things about the crystals.
I was going to say, Jacob's over here rocking it.
Okay. This one promotes love, compassion, emotional healing, self-love, self-acceptance.
Ruby. I'm just kidding. Go on.
I don't need any encouragement to practice self-love. I'm practicing self-love right now behind this desk.
He was laying his chair
That's
down
what that
earlier.
sound is.
Yep.
All right. A, rose quartz. B, lapis lazuli.
Gesundheit.
C, selenite.
I mean, I feel like it's just.
gotta be A,
I feel
right?
like it's a red herring, but I got to go rose quartz.
Yeah.
I'm going to go rose quartz as well. Are we all
and I'm
going to
guess that it's red.
I was going to say pink.
Oh,
I'm going to
okay.
go pink.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Read the other ones after rose quartz.
Rose
again.
quartz, lapis lazuli,
Okay.
Gesundheit.
and selenite. Selenite.
I'm doing
the stuff
selenite
you-
again.
That's the stuff you put over a container to keep food fresh.
Yes.
Correct. Or D, Tupperware.
Wait, I have to guess the color for selenite still?
No, you don't, because you're wrong.
Oh, damn it.
It is
Okay.
rose quartz.
Dang it.
And it
I was
is
trying to not guess the obvious.
Pink.
Oh! So Nick and I are tied.
You know what?
We both got a bonus. We both got 1 bonus point, and we both got that answer
I'm
right.
failing my crystal knowledge.
I hope I don't win. I don't know if I'd feel
You
good.
have,
with
see?
Yes.
You're like Peter with the chills.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, shit. No, I have to believe in those.
No.
Yes.
We both guessed colors based on. Well, I knew
Based on
I knew
love.
what amethyst looked like, and the name of the fucking thing is rose.
Yeah.
Like we guessed.
I just didn't want to guess.
There's
the
only
same.
2 things it could be.
Yeah, it's red or pink. That's the end of the list.
Yep.
If it had popped up, been like brown.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Like, whoa, somebody named this poorly.
Yeah.
All right, we'll save the rest.
Yes.
Let's see here. Does a therapist have a shelf life? And this is from Anonymous.
Yikes.
I was just listening to the podcast, What the Fuck with Mark Maron, with him interviewing Hannah Edbinder, I think. In the show she said that she had the same therapist since she was 15 And that was controversial since people, quote unquote, say that you should get a new therapist every 5 years.
Whoa.
Who are these people? Is there any validity to this, or is this just folk wisdom?
Must be.
Are advantages going, or is there an advantage to going through the effort of starting a new therapeutic relationship? Advantages to staying with someone who may be experienced enough to anticipate changes in the patient. And that is anonymous.
Have you ever heard of that, Nick?
I have never heard of that.
I haven't either.
But here's my thought behind this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had to Google who Hannah.
Okay.
Hannah and
Einbinder
was.
Einbinder?
Einbinder, maybe. Yeah.
And I've already forgotten who she is.
Okay.
But it's not important because the important thing behind this was that she's in her 20s. I think like mid to late 20s.
So 15 to like
15,
23 or something.
Yeah, so I think she has had the same therapist for at least 10 years.
Okay.
Is what I'm gathering.
Okay.
So there's kind of a question. Here's my opinion on this. There's kind of a question underneath a question, which we have actually talked about in this show. And I think
Jim.
It's unfortunate Jim's not here because I think
he's got
a little bit of a different take on this than what we have. Although I do kind of see his point, his perspective. So I will do the best to steelman his argument.
Yeah.
But 10 years is a long time to be in therapy. I think the reason why you and I have never heard of this 5-year get a new therapist thing is because we've never had clients that have been with us for 5 years.
More than 5 years, absolutely not. No. Yeah, and I was going to say Jim probably would chime in here and say, what do you mean by you've been to the same therapist for 10 years? Like, is that anytime you want to go back and have a session every couple months, like you're going back to your same therapist? I think that's fine.
And I think that's where we would probably agree with Jim.
Yeah.
In that sense, that like
you think Jim would say it's okay every week for 10 years to go to the same therapist?
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think so?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I've been wrong. Like I was pretty sure he knew where Italy was. Okay, so
it's the boot.
I've been
what
wrong.
Piece of footwear is Italy shaped like?
Thong.
Italy.
Yeah. No, I have been wrong before, but I do believe that I think he would. I want to say, I don't know. To me, like if you are seeing a therapist every week for 10 years, I don't know as if that's healthy.
Yeah.
Because we've had this conversation before, but I'm very driven by a treatment plan.
Yeah.
Like treatment plans to me are very, very important. It's what keeps things moving and progressing forward. And if you are still in therapy and you've been doing it that consistently, then I'm kind of wondering, like, are we still working a treatment plan or are we just doing this now because this is what we do on a Tuesday night?
Yeah.
You know? Now, that being said, it also kind of depends on what type of therapy you're receiving.
That's what I was going to say. What's the negative to
Physical
somebody
therapy.
does?
Well, yeah.
That's the positive.
Because this sounds like psychoanalysis.
Yeah.
Like psychoanalysis is very, so think of like Freud, Jung.
We're going to spend a long time together.
Yeah.
From the start.
Yep. You spend, and it is every week and it's very regimented. And the plan is that you're going to be in therapy for a long time.
Yeah.
So that like, you know, and then that kind of goes back to how do you feel about psychoanalysis and is that really, you know, producing results?
Yeah. I would be inclined to say kind of what you're saying, Nick, where after that long, what is the goal? What's the purpose? Why do you feel like you need to come every week? I mean, if they're paying out of pocket, I feel like Jim would be on this page. Like they just want to come to me and pay me for that time, fine. Social worker Whitney's a little bit like, well, if that time could be used to somebody who maybe needs something more and you just want my time, I think ethically I would feel a little bit of a drive to say like, let's go bi-weekly or monthly or just spread that out to where I can maybe assist someone else who might.
Neither of you have hit on the thing that I thought both of you would hit on first.
Ooh, what? And
that is that they started when they were 15.
Okay, so what strikes you as
there are two
important
things.
for that?
One, a lot of kids get into therapy after some traumatic event. Could be something along those lines. And And then the thing that I thought immediately when I saw that, honestly, was, is there something to switching therapists between kind of the time when you're a child and you become an adult?
Okay.
So like that was kind of my initial question was, because I mean, some people are better at dealing with children, some people are better at dealing with adults in all things. I'm much better at dealing with adults than I am dealing with children in just life. Yeah, I know, right?
So that's a good question. So let's just pretend, let's just ignore the length of therapy.
Yeah.
Let's just say that that's not an issue for whatever reason.
Yeah.
If that is the case, that this person's been going to therapy for 10 years, is it wise to have the same therapist for those 10 years, or should they change? And to Jacob's point, does it make sense to change as you're going through different stages of life? So 2 questions there.
Do you want to switch over to, I really like this phrase, an adult therapist?
Now, I do think, I think there are, I don't know, I think there are advantages to changing therapists. Me personally, if I was seeing the same therapist for 10 years, it might be nice to get a new perspective, or to try something different. But I guess then it all kind of, for me, again, it goes back to a treatment plan. Like, are we making progress on a treatment plan, or are we stalled? If we've stalled, then I think that'd be a good time to change up therapists.
If you're taking your Jeep to the mechanic every week for 10 years, it's time to get a different mechanic.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I know. Or at what point is
You're the Jeep rider.
At what point is it almost like, I can't think of the word I want to use there, but basically like a dependence on your therapist? Like, you kind of said that, like, oh, we just do this every Tuesday, but I don't even think it's that simple. It's almost like if you're 15 and have a great relationship with your therapist, that is a very impressionable age where you have found an adult that maybe you feel comfortable opening up to. And as you're going into adulthood yourself, is there almost like this dependence on them now? Like, feeling like I can't get through certain things without their input.
There you go.
And is that okay?
Yeah.
Now, on top of that, I kind of want to share, like, I work with some teens and I work with quite a few young adults. And to be very honest, they're different, but they're not so much. Like, under the age of 25, those adults are still figuring out life, and they are different than the teens, but it's like a very similar vibe in the session of, like, they're trying to figure out themselves. They're trying to figure out or navigate, tough decisions. Obviously, teens have way less control over their environment, so it's approached differently. But as far as like how the session kind of goes, our interactions, it's not super different versus like a 35-year-old, like a 15-year-old and a 35-year-old. So I kind of want to point that out. If she is in her like early to mid 20s,
okay,
that sounds like a big gap, but like maturity wise,
plus
it is different, but it I don't know.
Yeah, no,
it's not as different as you think.
Yeah, it's not like you turn 18 and then all of a sudden you're dealing with a different person.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing that I think we talked about this off air, but how trauma matures you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So a 15-year-old who's been through a lot of trauma, they're going to be much more adult-like in a lot of ways.
Some of these 15-year-olds that I've worked with are 16-year-olds that have been through some stuff. And usually it's like your parents split and that's not going well.
Sure.
Like, sometimes it's normal. I say that in quotes. Things, but they're very traumatic for the kid. They have to be more mature, and they're already thinking like of what they want to do for college, and they want to travel the world, and this is what they are thinking way beyond. And the 21-year-olds I meet with are already like working a job where they have a 401k, and like it's wild because they've been through some shit. But yeah, it's not so different because you're right, they have been through things and they're kind of ahead of their time, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that I was thinking about too, so my boss's boss has a daughter who's a freshman in college.
Okay.
Going into social work.
Okay.
And so she needed to interview a social worker for class. And so he reached out to me. He's like, hey, can my daughter interview you for I was like, yeah, absolutely.
And Nick fell in love.
The age gap is not that.
All right, I'm vetoing that joke.
Sorry.
No, we're done.
Nick's uncomfortable. All right, go on.
No, so anyway, but one of the questions was because she wants to get into working with kids, and I kind of thought about this. You fucking asshole.
Just giving you a little music bed.
Thank you
for your story. That's all.
Yes. But like, so we have both worked with kids in foster care.
Yes.
And so I was thinking about this in the sense that like, hold on. I'm losing
I know. I was like, we got way off track. I'm sorry.
Okay, no. But like
The boss's
like
boss's
a lot of
daughter.
those kids are gonna need continuing work.
It's like aftercare for foster care.
Exactly.
Kids.
So it's not like you're just like, okay, you're gonna need 2 years of therapy and then you're good for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It may mean we're gonna do 2 years of therapy and things are going well now, so we're gonna discontinue therapy and they may come back in a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years. It's going to be an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just constantly like, oh, new issues have come up or new circumstances have brought back old issues. So we're going to go back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could happen too. But I guess, I don't know, to kind of answer the question, no. I've never heard this before.
Yeah.
I've been working in this field for 20 years. This is new to me that you have to switch up therapist every 5 years.
Yeah, same. And if you have specific goals, then switching it up could be helpful. Like Nick was saying, a treatment plan and goals. But if you just have that connection and that relationship with your therapist, I mean, that's something we brought up on here too, how new research is showing that your relationship with your therapist is way more beneficial than even what specific modality you use. So if they have a good relationship with them, I don't think it seems harmful. I mean, there's nothing I've seen that shows that would be harmful per se.
Yeah.
Did you watch the show? I think it's called Shrink on HBO.
Shrinking?
Shrinking.
I have not. Jacob has.
I did, yeah.
Wait, I don't know if it's Shrinking. It's the one with Will Ferrell and Paul Rudd.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like an 8-episode series where...
Ted Lasso.
No.
That's it.
Actually, I think it is on Apple, not HBO. I can't remember. I'll look it up in a minute. But basically, they go through and he sees the therapist I think he's a PhD psychologist or something. But he goes through in like the 80s and has him for like 40 years or something insane, 30 years with the same therapist. But the therapist is taking advantage of him because he has money. And it's like really messed up. But that's the next thing that comes to mind, as long as there's not like, I mean, I don't know what ethics looked like in the 80s, on paper and all that. And probably he's the reason a lot of them came about. But yeah, that's what I think of too. When you talk about long-term therapy, like you have to be very careful when you talk about treatment plans. That's where ethics comes in.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing is like, there's so many variables here that we don't know as far as like, to just say, is it okay for somebody to have been in therapy for 15 years?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there's no way to answer that without knowing the specifics about this individual. You know,
right.
We don't know. I mean, are they still making progress? Then we can have that conversation. Is it something that, the client just feels like it's necessary?
Yeah.
Okay, we can look into that. And then we're going to look into, okay, is it good for the person? Because the client may feel like this is good, but is the person becoming dependent on their therapist?
Exactly.
And is that becoming kind of an excuse for them to not be able to make decisions on their own? There's so many questions that we would have to, kind of dig into to look at this.
Yeah. The Shrink Next Door. That's what it's called. The Shrink Next Door on Apple.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, changing therapists, that's the other thing you need to consider too, is that yes, you're going to have to go through those experiences again of establishing a new therapeutic alliance and relationship with the new therapist. You're going to have to tell the same stories again that you just told before. Yeah. Now that may be worth it for the person if they feel like they're just getting stuck and they just need somebody else. That may be, worth it. But if not, it's just something they need to consider. Yeah. So, yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, we're going to take another break. And when we get back, we're going to talk about hitting those books a little too hard. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Robert Brownie, Junior Mintz, Kayla Lansbury, Kevin Chamberlain, Ben Stanley, Adam Hathaway, Dan Martin, Lib. Hey, yo. Would you like to sponsor the show? Become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. Properties. Amplifier of energy and intentions. It balances energy and healing properties. Which crystal does this describe?
All right, I know this one, so I'll let you guys guess first.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Crystal expert.
Is it turquoise? Is it tiger's eye? Or clear quartz?
That's hilarious
For
because
balancing?
the one that was actually in my mind is on the list. I've got goosebumps.
Oh, I knew
No.
it. You're in the vortex.
I'm in the vortex.
It's right here. Okay. So.
I thought you were bullshitting me. You actually had something in mind?
I was like thinking
Okay.
about just a random crystal, and it happens to be on
It's
that
for
list. That is,
calming.
So
that is
now,
true.
here's where my brain goes. It
Yeah.
no longer goes to answering that question. Now I'm just trying to think, what crystal would you already be aware of?
I have
Quartz.
heard of all three of those crystals.
Oh, you have?
I have, yes.
Okay.
I'm going quartz.
I'm going to go turquoise.
I want tiger's eye. But
Good. I'm going tiger's eye.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I'm
this is-
just guessing a crystal.
I think
Unless
you know.
it's just in the back of my brain somewhere.
Oh, okay. We need to guess what color it is
Oh,
first.
Tiger's eye
shit.
is black with like some spots of like orange in there. Like it kind of looks like tiger, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, you're wrong. It's clear quartz.
Oh, there you go.
You got that one right. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
white
did
for
not-
the color.
I did not highlight the color yet, so I don't know.
All right, I'm going to guess clear.
Fuck! God damn it! Clear quartz. You know, I'm gonna go.
Pink. Guess pink.
I'll go pink.
I said white earlier.
You're going white.
Yeah.
It's pink. No, it's clear or white.
Yeah!
So I guess I'm the only one that doesn't get a point on that
You
one.
are.
Okay, number 4. Let's see. Properties. Provides protection against negative energies and psychic attacks. It's used for grounding and connecting to Earth's energy. Is it A, I think malachite?
Okay.
B, labradorite?
I think that's a
Sounds
dog.
like
Real.
bullshit. Or C, black tourmaline. Tourmaline.
I mean, it's got to be the black tourmaline.
I'm going to go black
right?
tourmaline, and I'm going to guess the color is black.
It's a good
I'm going to
guess.
guess malachite.
Ooh, I'm going black for my color too.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's highlight this here. Try to not highlight the color. Oh, fuck. It is black tourmaline. Okay. I'm going to
Yeah!
Jacobs were killing
I'm going
it.
to go black.
What color?
Are you both going black?
Black.
We have also guessed black.
It is black.
Ah, yes. We're so smart.
Plaid. The answer was plaid.
Swirls.
All right. We're going to do one more and then we're going back.
Okay.
All right. Promotes luck, opportunities, abundance, emotional healing, and emotional balance.
Money.
Lucky
Sits.
money.
Bloodstone, adventurine, or garnet.
Oh.
Until the last one, I thought you were just making up names.
I think they're all made up. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I guess
I
garnet.
mean, someone made them up.
Yeah.
Garnet, and I think it's
gonna go-
green.
I'll go with the first one. What was-
Bloodstone.
Yeah, that one sounds
Sounds cool.
Okay, I'll go adventurine.
All right.
Which I'm
I
pretty
hope you're
sure-
right.
Oh, and
I will
Bloodstone,
die.
I'll guess red.
Good guess.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's really the only reason I'm guessing anymore, is so I can guess
Get
the
the
color
color
of the
right.
thing.
it is adventurine.
Okay.
You got
It
it
is. I
right.
did get it
I
right.
will
Okay.
guess green.
I'm gonna go purple.
Blue.
Okay.
Green.
Ah, lucky
Hey.
number.
Okay, Jacob knows
Jacob's
his
killing
crystals.
it.
I think I have killed the crystal questions.
We need to get Peter in here and have like a crystal
He's
off.
the one
Yeah.
who's been to the vortex and back.
All of him? I didn't think so. You leave a piece of you in that vortex. Doing too much research in therapy from Leela. Hey, y'all. I heard the queue is low and figured now is my time to shine, so here we go. I struggle to connect with my emotions, and I tend to intellectualize what I'm feeling instead of just feeling it. I've been working on this and other issues with my therapist, but when he discloses some of his observations to me, I want to learn more about what he's seeing and what I'm experiencing, so I'll often do some outside research on it. For example, I have a complicated relationship with my parents. During one of my sessions, my therapist briefly mentioned that my parents sounded emotionally immature and that he believed that contributed to the issues that I am experiencing. That comment reminded me of a book that I had heard someone recommend called Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. I bought and read that book, and I strongly identified with the description of this type of parenting and the impact it has over children and later adults who were raised in that environment. I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, and I've realized that the book is informing the way I understand my in-session conversations with my therapist. I have done this type of self-education on other topics too. I'm writing to y'all because I feel conflicted about whether this self-assigned homework is good for me. On the one hand, reading an objective analysis of the things that I've been experiencing helps me make sense of them and can make me feel validated and less alone. On the other hand, doing these types of deep dives on my own can bring up a lot of emotions that I don't know what to do with and can leave me feeling really vulnerable. I also recognize that this is my attempt to understand my experience without having to focus on the feelings that come with it, which I worry undermines the work that I'm doing in therapy. So, my question for y'all is, what do I do? Should I stop digging into these ideas on my own and let my therapist control how and when the information is presented to me? Or can this type of work be helpful so long as I'm transparent with my therapist about it? If the latter, how do I make sure my outside work is complementing the work that I'm doing during my sessions instead of undermining it? Thanks so much. That's Leela, she, and her.
That is so funny. I just started reading this book
Oh, really?
last week. Yeah. I haven't finished it yet because I just do it in pieces. But yes, it's part of my this book club with other therapists.
Oh,
It's our
cool.
assigned book, and it's due like October 7th. So trying to finish it up.
Better get cracking.
I know, right?
Have you ever had clients that will do this, that like kind of overload themselves and like homework and stuff?
Yeah.
Self-assign.
The clients I've had that do the work outside of sessions, I feel like is really helpful for them. And what I hear the writer, Leela.
Yeah.
What I hear her saying is that
Or at least that's how my relative who's named Leela spells her name.
Okay.
So I
We'll
hope
go
that's
with
it.
Fair enough.
Sure. But it sounds like it's helpful for her, but it can also be a little overwhelming, is what I'm hearing. And she's not really sure what to do with those feelings, which ironically, her having trouble connecting with her emotions is because of what the book is talking about. It's like cyclical, right?
Oh, interesting.
Like, you know what I mean? You're looking into, this is why I'm having trouble feeling my emotions. Sometimes that can open up opportunities to feel things more deeply because you haven't really thought about what the book is talking about, especially regarding how you're raised, how your parents displayed emotions. And so, her analyzing herself outside of that might be opening that up. And then it's overwhelming because you're used to not having or not feeling those emotions. That's how I like kind of hear her stressor. But in general, like bibliotherapy and reading books that are helpful outside of sessions, doing homework outside of sessions is very helpful. And bringing that to session when we're meeting really helps us work through a lot more quickly, typically. I don't know if I misheard anything, but is she bringing it up with her therapist in session and just not getting a lot of feedback?
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, there's one sentence in there that I highlighted that I thought was very important, which I haven't been able to stop thinking about it, and I've realized that the book is informing the way I understand my in-session conversations. So that piece to me, I think, is very telling, because it almost kind of reminded me of like in college, like you kind of have to learn how to study, you know, and I kind of realized very early on that there's a big difference between just going to the lecture and then reading the chapter afterwards, as opposed to reading the chapter ahead of time and then going to the lecture.
Yeah.
Because then you're getting a whole
analogy.
different experience, because now you're taking what they're saying and applying it to knowledge you already have. And so, like, to me, I think that is a really good observation there. And again, like, I think this is one of those situations where it really kind of depends, because like this could be abused in a way. You know, it can be your way of escaping,
skirting around,
exactly,
and avoiding,
right,
and not actually having to feel it, because you're getting, you're throwing yourself into the intellectual component of it, as opposed to actually looking at how does this relate to me. Another thing that I thought of while reading this was how many of our fellow therapists experience this when they go into therapy to deal with their own stuff.
My gosh, yeah.
Yeah, like, so, I
It's
mean...
got to be all of them, right? I mean, like every single one.
No, I mean, everybody but me. But
Sure.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
not
yeah,
you, Nick.
No.
Yeah, not me. I'm
No.
fine. But I mean, it definitely happens in substance use, right? Treatment.
Oh,
I mean, it's a 50-50 split between people who are in recovery themselves and those who have never been in recovery, right?
They're like using the therapeutic language back at you. Like,
Yeah.
look, I know these things. We don't have to discuss further. Like,
Yeah, and so it's like, a lot of people, when they get, they go through rehab, they get clean, they're working a recovery program, and they feel really good about it. They want to help others. So then they kind of jump into like, I want to go to school. I want to be a counselor. I want to do X, Y, and Z. And then you kind of have to like, okay, great. That'll come, but you have to take care of yourself first. And sometimes they kind of do it in reverse order.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to learn how to become a therapist, because then it's almost like, then I don't have to pay for therapy. I can just do it myself. It's like learning to become an electrician, so you don't have to hire an electrician to work on your house.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to have somebody else work on that piece.
But you should find out where your water cutoff valve is for your house.
Thank you.
Even
It's been
Whitney
2
knows.
episodes. We have not,
like,
we've
even
not brought
Whitney
that
knows.
up.
That
Make
says a
sure
lot.
you know where your water cutoff valve is. It's just a public service announcement.
Yeah.
Yes. Or else you're an idiot.
Yeah, definitely trying to view it as a tool to bring to session. Like, hey, even saying some of the things you've said in this letter to your therapist, I'm worried that I might just be using this, I don't know if I'm using this in the right way. What are your thoughts? Because, again, we've said this before on here, but your therapist only knows what you tell them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't know all the thoughts inside your head. And yes, I know everybody jokes about, once you meet a therapist, they're psychoanalyzing you all the time. And I mean, a little bit, maybe we're picking up on cues more than other people, but we still don't know everything going on in there. So you do have to help us out, and sharing that would give him an opportunity to explore that with you. Like, well, what do you mean? In what ways? Give you a chance to explain, and he can apply what you've already been working on together in session to what your concern is.
Yeah.
Or her. Sexist.
I think she said it's a guy.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah. I was like, that's the only way I said him.
Okay, but that doesn't mean you're wrong, Jacob.
Yeah. Still sexist.
I know.
It's
I'm
not
going to
about
find it.
this.
Oh, there you go. But when he discloses some of his observations to me, that's what I was like, a guy
I'm not happy
therapist.
about that.
Fine.
Boom, roasted.
I think this is
Sexist.
I think this is like a lot of things, in therapy, where it's like anything that's good can be overdone or can be used in the wrong way. And I guess what would be kind of the border or the threshold that we can say this has gone from healthy to becoming problematic. And honestly, I think it's if you feel like you're not able to relate to, feel like you can experience the emotions and just kind of sit in those emotions and deal with those emotions. If you're kind of starting to use your intellect as your way to escape all of that, then yes, I think that becomes problematic.
Yeah.
And it's going to be difficult for you to be able to discern that. So in that case, I think it's good for you to communicate this to your therapist and just kind of bring this concern up and just say, hey, I really enjoy doing all this side work on my own, but I do have this concern, because I think your therapist will be able to guide you in the right direction there. I hope they don't tell you to completely stop doing it, because it sounds like it's actually really helpful.
Yeah.
And my bet is, because they say that they do it, Leela says they do it for other aspects of their life as well. Mm-hmm. And so I'm betting she's not going to stop.
Yeah.
Well, and some people are just like that. Like, I'm kind of like this too. Like, when I learn something, that's why it takes
like
me so long to learn stuff.
You do a little dive on every little thing.
Because I need to understand, okay, well, why is that? Okay, so now I have to stop this so I can understand this component.
Yeah.
Some people are just, I think, wired that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I would bet, it's funny because before we had read all the way through and it said that their therapist mentioned their parents being emotionally mature, I was thinking, I wonder if they have read the adult children of emotionally mature parents. And then sure enough, I was like, I was like, yep.
If you had done your homework and pre-read the letters, you would have known.
I didn't today. I just jumped right in. I was too busy getting something for
I definitely didn't read them, so I'm fine if you didn't.
But yeah.
Well, Nick even told me I had to read them out loud on the show, and I still didn't reread them.
I love it.
Nope. That's how we roll.
This is still the first time I opened this attachment.
Different people.
Yep.
I didn't even check to see if I could open the attachment that you had sent me before it was time to go on the show.
No, I think reading stuff outside of therapy is great. Just bring it up with your therapist. They've probably read it, and I'm surprised they didn't recommend it. And if not, then they might and be able to relate to you.
Yeah. And I bet they'll have opinions on things that, like questions that you have from the book. I bet your therapist will have opinions on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Thank you for writing in.
Yes.
All right.
As we wrap up the show, we want to remind you that if you sign up at patreon.com/therapy, you can get all of this extended show ad-free, and you can get it a day early, as well as enjoy our live chat Discord community and our weekly deep dives, interviews, skill shares, research roundups, and rants. And I got to tell you, as a Patreon myself,
excellent. Yes, go ahead.
My favorite is the Discord community. I love having conversations with other theropods in the Discord community. It is the best. It's the bee's knees, I tell you.
Totally believable.
Jacob's a good actor. Nick says he isn't, but Jacob's got it.
All right. Yes, definitely check out if you're at the $5 or above. We put out some bonus content. Jim did one this week on solution-focused brief therapy. I have not listened to it yet. I can't wait to listen to it and criticize it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still have to come up with what I'm going to do next week. And then Whitney, whenever.
I was like, I should probably jump in on this at some point.
Whenever you want to.
You know what? I saw the SFBT pop up and I was like, man, that's like the one thing I actually do know a lot about. And Jim took it already. So
I know. That's what I was going to do. That was going to be the next one I did. But
ditto.
Yeah. Right? Right? Used all the time in life coaching. We've got some new folks joining us this week. So I want to thank our new TheraPals. Thank you, Kevin Tribe or Tribe. I'm going to go Tribe.
Okay.
And Michael J. Kleinman.
And we have new theropods.
Woo!
That's Bourbinator and K Pizzle Dizzle.
Hey, K Pizzle Dizzle. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We really appreciate it. And we got to thank our TheraPartners, Dirty B, Myra, and Pickett. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And of course, we want to especially thank our bosses, the Saccharin 16, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of our fan club. That's the TheraProducers, which I don't think is just 16 anymore. Ignore that number.
No, it's like the Pac-12.
Also, like, however many people there are in it, there's always room for more. Right now, I want to thank Jake Schneider, Robert Brownie Jr. Mint, Smitty Scoop, Ben Dawn, Judy Schneider, Kayla Lazenberry, Mr. and Mrs. Hot Dog Scoop, or Mrs. and Mr. Hot Dog Scoop, excuse me, Malia, Leon Kassab, Mason Miller, Richard Macy, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Sammy Scoop, Ben Stanley, slap in your face, Sarah Smith, I think I know her, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, University Jeff, Mike Helm, Paris, Samantha Kahn, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Team Monaco, Thunder Cougar Falcon Scoop, Matt and Lisa Tangerman, Heyo, Oscar Swanrose, a Sunny Boy, Slurpee Kaye motherfucker, Sandra McWaffle, Dan Martin, and Hannah Marie.
And if you'd like to hear this episode uncut and unedited,
and why wouldn't you?
And enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy, and thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time we have for this week's episode. We want to thank our landlords, the Ice Cream Social Podcast, and thanks to those of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. Remember, pod therapy is not something that you should keep all to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it by opening this episode's description in your podcast app and copying and pasting the link provided into your social media. Don't forget, you can find us on Facebook.com/PodTherapy, on X @PodTherapyGuys, and now at Patreon.com/therapy.
And if you want to submit a question to the show, ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Jim Jobin.
I'm Whitney.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next week. Okay.
There's more crystal questions.
Oh, we got crystal questions.
Do we have crystal questions?
We got crystal questions for days.
Oh, boy.
Okay, here we go.